Hi, today we're going to be reflecting on 2022's goals and making some new goals for 2023. So for this year, one of my goals was to max out my retirement account, and I have already accomplished that. So one of them was the Roth IRA, which I funded early in the year. So that was $6,000. And then the next goal, which is the 401k/403b, I ended up maxing that out earlier. So I think last month, because I ended up getting a bonus. So that was $20,500 for this year. So yeah. In line with my retirement goals, I also wanted to be financially independent this year, and unfortunately that did not happen because the stock market is in the negative. So therefore, everything that I put in has lost value. So I haven't reached my financial independence goal yet. Now, if you're interested in what the goal amount is and what my plan is to get there, then I will leave the playlist for you. But if you've been paying attention, I will say that I am around 90% of the way to financial independence. So that is very exciting. So we're going to be moving that goal on to 2023. Another goal that I've accomplished this year was to purchase my car, and I did that in April of this year. I have a video of the car tour if you're interested, and just an update, I'm still loving it. I mentioned that at the 6-month update that I was as well, and it's still the same. It makes driving significantly more pleasant, so I'm happy about that decision. Another goal of mine was to start investing in crypto, and if you checked into the 6-month update, I scrapped that plan earlier in the year, so I ended up selling my crypto holdings then, and I made a 2% profit, and I'm still gonna be staying out of crypto. If you've been paying attention to the financial news recently, crypto has been having a bad year, like all around, from in terms of profit and then scandals and companies going bankrupt, etc. So that's one goal that I don't mind having scrapped. Another goal was to start making money on YouTube, and I haven't gotten there yet. So this is the beginning of December, so we have a few more days of the year. So we'll see if that happens. When it does happen, I'll of course update you guys in my monthly resets. Another generalized goal of mine was to decrease my spending, and that is basically with the hopes of decreasing the amount of things that I have, and of course freeing up money for other goals. So this year my plan was to do a no spend, and some of the categories that I was not intending to spend any money on were clothes, particularly fashion clothing, shoes, jewelry, and home decor. And that is because I chose those items because I have, I would say, a good amount of those things, and there isn't necessarily a need for more. But of course, those are also categories that I enjoy spending money in because I like nice things, as I've said multiple times. Since my 6-month check-in with you guys, I have not purchased anything in any of those categories at all. So that means for 2022, I didn't buy any shoes, home decor, or fashion clothing pieces. Now, as I mentioned before, I did buy a light winter jacket for my Iceland trip, which I have no qualms about because that's a necessity in my eyes. And then I also, related to that trip, bought a sweatshirt that says Reykjavik on it, and that's because Iceland was one of the favorite places that I've been to, and I've been to quite a few places, but it was just such an amazing experience, and I wanted something to remember it by. So I wanted a souvenir, but I wanted something that I would actually use, and thus the sweatshirt came in, and I've worn it multiple times, and I'm always reminded of how awesome that vacation is. So no regrets there. And the one no buy category that I failed to not buy anything in was jewelry. So I did buy a ring that I mentioned before that I had wanted in 2021, and I found a dupe for the ring this year, so 2022. And because it was at TJ Maxx and I knew it was not necessarily going to be there in the future, I ended up purchasing it. Now, I still feel like I did pretty good in this department because there are quite a few jewelry pieces that I've eyed over this year that I wanted to purchase, but I didn't purchase because I knew I was on this no buy, and I set my intention and I just was not going to go back on that. So overall for this year, I think I did pretty well on the no buy. So will I be doing another no buy for 2023? No. And that is basically because I don't want to be restricted anymore. As we'll talk about in a few, 2023, I'm going to be effectively revamping my life in a way because of certain events. So I don't want to be restricted with what I'm spending my money on. But does that mean I'm going to go out and revenge buy a bunch of things? No, like I honestly have a good collection of clothing, so I'm not really looking to buy a ton of clothing in the future either, and or shoes. And then in terms of jewelry, like I mentioned, I have a few pieces that I've had my eye on and I'm interested in getting, but I set a budget for what I want to spend on jewelry, so that should keep the spending in check. And then home decor, I'm still trying to keep minimal, but there's an area in my house that I want to redo, so I think I'll buy a few home decor pieces for that area, but that's gonna be it. Now moving on to 2023's goals. So this is where things start to become very exciting for me, at least. It feels like, I don't know, like a major life shift. So the goal for 2023, or one of them, is to go part-time. So I have already requested to go part-time this year, but because of the way my job works, they have to find a person to effectively replace or take up the hours that I'm going to be dropping. So that takes some time for onboarding, etc. So sometime in 2023, I'm not sure when. I'm hoping it's going to be earlier in the year because the sooner the better, but I should be going part-time, and that just means that I'm going to be working half-time. So right now I work 40 hours, so full-time, or I used to work 40 hours. Now I'm like a little bit under 40 hours, but still effectively working full-time. And then when I go part-time, I'm only going to be doing 20 hours, so I'm going to be just half-time. So I've talked about why I wanted to go part-time for a while. I mentioned in several videos, especially the ones about financial independence, because I just don't 100% enjoy being at work for a number of reasons. Sometimes it's not so much the work itself, but just everything else surrounding the work. So all the bureaucracy, all the rules, certain people that I work with, etc. Like I just don't enjoy being there. Like for the majority of my week, like it's entirely too much. It's taxing. It honestly like weighs on my mental health in a lot of ways. Like in fact, most recently when I last worked, like I got some horrible news. I mean, that sounds like very dramatic, but I got some unpleasant news, should I say, that like really tipped me over the edge and like affirmed my desire to go part-time 100%. So obviously if I'm going part-time, then I'm going to be making less money. So I've already mapped out my budget working half-time and like plan the financials. So in theory, I should be fine because this entire time I've effectively been living on half of my income. So in theory, it should be fine when I actually only have half my income. I think the issue will become the psychological part of having less income or knowing that I'm getting less. That might be the issue, but we will deal with that in the future. And of course, I do my budgets, etc., whatnot every month, so I'll try to let you guys know like how I'm doing in that regard. But I am very excited to be going part-time. I have so many plans of all the things that I want to do. That of course involves, which I'll talk about in a few, doing more for my business, as in this content creation thing that I have going on, because I actually enjoy doing that. Also, I want to do more traveling. I've started looking at events and booking things and just other activities that I enjoy doing, mostly leisurely activities. I'm definitely a lady of leisure, so I just want to spend more of my time doing those things and get myself to a more happier place in my life. So I'm super looking forward to this. Getting back to my retirement goals, those are still the same in terms of maxing out my retirement retirement accounts. So I still want to max them out, even though I am going to be, you know, getting less income, because retirement accounts, like the ones that are dictated by the government, that is, if you, in some ways, like you cannot make up for like the years that you don't contribute. So if you don't contribute to your Roth IRA this year, you can't make up for it in future years. You can only put the amount for the allotted year, if you know what I'm saying. Like you miss the year that you don't contribute, and that's money that could be growing tax-free, specifically for Roth. For a 401k, 403b, they do have something called catch-up contributions that you can start doing in your 50s, but of course there's no guarantee that you're going to be having an extra income then to be catching up. So anyway, even though I'm making less money, I still can contribute / max out those accounts. Of course, it's going to mean that I have less take-home pay, of course, but that's the sacrifice that I'm willing to make. So planning on maxing out those accounts. So for 2023, the max for the Roth IRA is going to be $6,500, and then for the 401k / 403b, it's going to be $22,500. So I'm going to be maxing those out. So following up on my financial independence goals, we're going to be moving that on up to 2023, and I am hoping, provided that the stock market does not crash significantly further than it already has, that I will become financially independent. So I would have accumulated enough money to generate around $20,000 of income every month. And this $20,000 is effectively my living expenses, or how much it costs for me to live. That doesn't include currently my car payment, because I didn't have my car payment before I started my financial independence journey. And it doesn't include like a lot of the things that I actively buy and spend money on now, like all my expensive vacations, all my expensive luxury purchases, etc. But those are things that are not necessities and can be toned down if I needed them to. And then in another way, it doesn't effectively matter because I won't be stopping working entirely. So I will still be having income to pay for all my extraneous purposes. So I just need income that allows me to pay my baseline expenses so that I have more freedom to do what I want. So that is effectively my financial independence goal and the amount that I want. So hopefully I will have enough investments to be able to generate that income. So stay tuned, of course, with the update next year as to see how I'm doing. And then, as I alluded to a few minutes ago when I was chatting about my goal progress for 2022, I would like to grow this content creation business that I have been doing on and off for years. Like I think it's been about 3 years since I've been doing this. I did start a blog in 2020. That's the year of the pandemic, because it was the pandemic, and I wanted an avenue besides YouTube to talk about finance. So I started a blog then. So I have a blog and I have this YouTube channel. And in order to grow the business more, now that I will have more free time since I'm going part-time, I want to get into other things. So YouTube, I'm hoping to, of course, continue probably at the same cadence that I have now. So 1 video a week. I've been consistent for a few months now, so that's lovely. I've had it on my monthly reset goals, so it's been giving me the push and drive to keep doing it. So that's always good. And then I also want to start getting into other social media platforms. Like I want to start doing some short form content. So on TikTok, and then I also am considering doing Instagram as well, because I don't know, that seems to be the platform in terms of growing your business and generating revenue. So I would love to do that. I mean, I love taking photos, of course, and I love sharing those parts of my life that I feel can help you guys as well. So yeah, that is the plan. Then related to that, I would like to start generating regular income from creating content. So historically, I've made, I think in the last 2 years of content creating, like $200, which Honestly, I'm surprised that I even made that at all. Like, lots of that was from ads on my website. And then, of course, I've made some money because I recently started making my budgeting template available for download. So if you guys have purchased that, which I am, of course, grateful for. And I've made a few dollars from affiliate links, so Amazon and things like that. So the goal, presumably, with becoming more consistent and expanding the business, then I should be able to make a consistent income. So I want to make money like on a monthly basis so that I can, one, grow the business, because at this point, everything that I have put into the business is my own money, which has been thousands of dollars, which clearly I don't mind. I've been doing it for free this entire time because I enjoy it. So that doesn't matter, but it would just be nice to have money that I didn't have to generate from working outside of the business. So capital for the business to improve the business and generate more income. So that is the goal of having consistent income. Another goal of mine, which is somewhat lofty, I believe, is to decrease the amount of items that I have in half. So basically, now that I will be having more free time, I want to declutter, like, seriously. I've been very slowly decluttering this year because I've mentioned, my monthly resets that I'm trying to sell things and donate, etc. But this year, now that I have more time, or next year, since we're not there yet, when I have more time, I want to get rid of a lot more things that I have around the house and just have like a simpler, less cluttered like home. Like, my house isn't cluttered. I think you guys have seen it like on and off, like in my vlogs and stuff, but it definitely could be better. There are a few closets, etc., that have some things that just need to go. So that is going to be the plan for 2023. So that is it, guys. Let me know what your plans are for 2023, and if you made some goals for this year, let me know how they went, how they progressed so far, and if you're going to be able to accomplish them in the next few weeks. And yeah, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.